Welcome back. You are watching a really exciting version of Gem Collectors with Shawn. I am Shawn. To make up for not being here last week, and it was, just have to deal with some of that long COVID. And I only say that because if any of you out there know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. 3.5 years later, after having had COVID, I still get symptoms, and sometimes they're really strong. So normally we can work it out because of the wonderful Mr. Osif, but in this case there was other uses that I couldn't make up the show to be able to bring it to you. So I apologize for that. But I am back, we're raring to go, and as mentioned before and promised, as time went on, you would see some really amazing pieces that you wouldn't even think I'd have. But yeah, I have some items that don't hit that really super duper high end. Everything would be affordable in this show, but it's not always about the price. It's more about the price that I am offering it for, which is, I have done a little, which, I told you I normally don't, and go looking elsewhere at pricing. But I want to make sure that that it's not more than you would find it somewhere else. But I find most everything I offer is something I kept for a reason. In other words, I may have an entire flat of a particular type of specimen, and maybe I will pick out one that may not actually be technically the most valuable, but there's something unique or different about it. Or maybe it has multiple minerals in the matrix where others in the flat, don't. Reasons like that. So in the end, it makes the specimens not fully comparable to anything else you would find, to be able to get a real price quote on. Or, sometimes it's really easy. For example, the Japanese rainbow garnets. They're the androdites. I did go to the internet. I wanted to find the finest one, basically, in a single crystal, like what I was offering, and for an X number of dollars. And it was no bigger, they were no bigger, they were the big ones featured. I saw absolutely no iridescence, none of them were even a carat, and every one of them was $79. I was offering those, and still, some might still be around that didn't sell, I don't know. But those 6 carat or 7 carats for in that price range. And those extraordinary quality ones. So that's where the, I didn't change my pricing because I saw how really underpriced they technically were. I just wanted to make sure that while I had them in my lifetime, that I got to share them with all of you who have supported me at an amazing deal. So a lot of you, like I know Mr. Anthony picked up quite a few, several, smart, very smart. So you're going to see something today that really is one of the finest items I will have featured. So I'm going to show it soon. And it's also one of the more expensive ones, but relative to anything else you would find, you would have to go to some of the higher, if not the highest end online mineral dealers, let's put it that way, to maybe find something comparable. And that is where the price would be in multiples of just like the scolicites. I offer those scolicites at a fraction of what the real price was if you could compare. But like I said, the ones I was offering, some of the bigger ones, there was nothing else that big being offered. So you couldn't compare. Because in the mineral world, larger often does equate to more valuable. It's also a lot harder to get out the bigger a specimen is in one piece. So especially something like the scoliocytes, which, you know, were all those porcupine quill type of crystals. So anyway, I have something really neat to show you. I have something from an extinct mine to show you, a couple items from extinct mines to show you. Now, one thing before I forget, because it bugged me. When I was doing inventory this week, I've got another, it was sold as lepidocrocite, but the reality of it is that those of you who have something that says lepidocrocite in quartz, 99% chance it's not technically lepidocrocite. It's going to be hematite. So anyway, you're going to get the real deal in another one of the hematite and quartz crystals being offered. I say that only because to remind myself, because it's in the same bag, and this is how maybe my funny mind works, to tell whoever, if somebody did buy the veracite from 2 weeks ago that was drilled all the way through, that amazing veracite from the Tonopah mining district. Well, it happens that in the inventory, when you're picking, let's say, localities. Well, New Hampshire happens to be right next to Nevada. And my finger hit New Hampshire. Because when I saw New Hampshire and Tonopah Mining District, I said, well, I hope whoever gets this knows that there's really no veracite from New Hampshire, and that the Tonopah Mining District is the true locality. If you looked it up, you'd see that it was in Nevada. So anyway, just want to say, if someone got that veracite, that's an amazing opportunity. Again, problem with the drilling. Drill all the way through that, and to have a piece like that makes it, again, not comparable to maybe another piece of veracite that might be exactly like that one. And even if it was less, but is it drilled all the way through? Try to drill that veracite through after it's cut, and I can promise you it will break before you get to the other end, especially when you're drilling through that kind of length. So I have some other really neat pieces to show you related, kind of a cousin or family member to veracite. We'll get to that, but let's get to the comments, and we do have a trivia winner, and because I want to get to the items I have for you. All right, so Miss Barbara in Brooklyn, I think. So anyway, let me read. This was from earlier in the 2-week span. Hi, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Calling the call center and asking them to tell Asif that your show hasn't been posted works a treat. 45 minutes later, we were happily watching and shopping. Sweet. Sometimes that's all it takes. Thank you so much for the tumbled chiastolites, which she won in a trivia. And so listen to what she says. And now Barbara, mind you, is really smart, has amazing specimens. And what she doesn't have, she knows about all the other stuff. And I think it is one of my fact checkers. And Brad being another one, and Miss Gabby, and so many others. Your level of knowledge and information is really coming up. Hey, by the way, before I forget, I also want to wonder, let's hear from somebody. I have missed hearing from Miss Elisa. Harry, still looking for any comments from you. So some of you jump back in, want to hear from you. All right, so when Miss Barbara says something, you know, it's, you listen. Just like you listen to Mr. Anthony as a cutter. And we have, of course, well, wait till you hear the story from Charles. They are beautiful. I have a drab, so we're talking about the chiastolites. They are beautiful. I have a drab unpolished sample next to my starlight, which I have to hide from my born-again friends who covet my cross minerals, although I now have an extra one to share because I sent her 2 of them. I had no idea this cross formation was related to the graphite concentrations that form in Trapetia emeralds. Have a growing collection of those, and oh man, in our 9-year live show that Raven and I had, we had a tremendous selection of trapeches, including trapeche rough, super high-end jewelry trapeches. I mean, we sold a lot of trapeches. All right, so my newest interests are corkscrew growth features in beryl crystals and rare earth element daylight luminescent materials like, well, LUAG. If you haven't heard of it, it is a lutetium aluminum garnet. If you're not familiar with lutetium, it's one of the rare earth elements that actually can be found in bastnasite or monazite. And that's why whoever got that bastnasite that I passed, you got you a real neat, rare gem. And I think it's a cerium carbonate to start with, which is really unique anyway, and then pile on the REEs, the rare earth elements, into it, and you have something really cool. So I really didn't know that it was a source, major source for lutetium, which is about $10,000 a kilo, and it is mined as a byproduct of the bastnasite rare earth elements. Now, bastnasite you don't think of always as a gem. Bastnasite is found in just like spodumene. You know, it's found in massive amounts, more non-crystalline or non-discernible as crystalline, and you know something you wouldn't even recognize as either bastnasite or spodumene. It's the well. Or quality, let's say, of many different minerals when you have ones that have rare earth elements. Are in daylight luminescent materials like LUAG and strontium aluminate. Mr. Brad got me started on the last one. LUAG is the next generation after GGG and YAG, which is yttrium aluminum garnet, and GG is gadolinium garnet. Created garnets. Neat materials that are used in medical detectors, heads-up displays for fighter jets and lasers. Offcuts are bought up by two enterprising guys who offer rough and fast material for collectors. Seriously colorful and neat stuff. As to the trivia, carbon in the chiastolites, green epidote and pink feldspar equals unikite and Unica Mountains in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, which those were from the week before. Watching daily videos from the Munich Gem and Mineral Show this weekend to see what's new and hot this season. Have a great week all. Barbara from Brooklyn. Miss Cindy, hello Rock family. That was a wonderful show. Never heard of the parrot wing chrysocolla before. I adore Dave's mom's pendant. It is gorgeous. I am excited to be the trivia winner again. I love fluorite and I love skulls. A fluorite skull is an awesome item, and a tangerine quartz from Brazil to go with it. Thank you. Was able to get the malachite and azurite specimens. All the aquamarine and moldavite sets were gone already. Went to another rock swap this past Saturday. Scored some treasures. Grave Mountain Turgite, a nice piece and a bucket list item, and a lazulite, a corundum ruby, a brucite specimen, and an agarine, all Russian. Some Mexican fire opal, Andean blue opal, Pennsylvania wavelite, a large piece for only $1. That was a deal. And epidote from Cigar Valley. Pretty much small pieces, but the large impressive stuff was over my budget. I, like Penny, took $100 with me and came home with some change. Trivia: chrysocolla quartz, azurite, silicite, cuprite, and question number 2 was potassium 40. The questions were name 5 minerals that were in the parrot wing calves. Cuprite, malachite, azurite, chrysocolla, and quartz being the answers, and the other was what natural occurring radioactive isotope causes the color difference in ametrine, and that would be potassium 40. Which naturally occurs in the ground, and well, I think Miss Barbara has a comment to that here in a moment. Let's see. So Miss Cindy getting it all right and having fun. Till next week, take care, everyone. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, down to 30 degrees this Wednesday morning from 80 degrees last Thursday. No. Oh, believe me, Dave also, we would rather have the cold down here than the heat. But I know, because Jimbo is in Delaware now. Of course, he moved from Arizona. He says, boo, Shawn. First time I've been booed on the show. And the Rock Family, very interesting show and some nice items. Getting ready for the cold coming in the 80s, going bye-bye. I think that's what I got the boot for, was being for the cold weather. Letting everyone to remember to protect their pipes and animals from the freezing weather. My horses are really furry now, meaning the old man Frost is out there soon. Love the parrot wing calves. Elements, malachite, cuprite, chrysocolla, quartz, azurite. Getting them all right. And I always wondered what the cause of ametrine color, and now I know. It's potassium 40. Take care all. Keep your eyes down to the ground. Never know what can be found. Blessings to all. Jimbo. Next we have Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello all. Thank you for steering me in the right direction on polishing different hardness stones. I had mentioned about Indian sunstone. I think I was fighting myself and the hematite. I got some 50,000 diamond paste. A friend has a steam generator so I can get it clean and try this again. Yep, steam generators work or steamer work absolutely great. Ultrasonic, which can affect and hurt some minerals, but stuff like that, not normally. You wouldn't want to put an emerald in it and pull the oil out, and because of the fissures and the large loss of value if something goes wrong. Other minerals, you take the chance because ultrasonic can really get into deep areas that a steamer sometimes just pushes the material in further into a little crevice, or let's say like the tubular inclusions that are in Mozambique, tourmalines, things like that. So the ultrasonic can bring those out. So you only want to use the steamer when you know the steam won't push it further into a crevice kind of situation. But other than that, yeah, a steamer. And the main thing is a lot of different minerals and gemstones, they say keep away from heat. Well, it's not always the heat. What it is the quick heat change. Even quartz can easily be affected. You take it from a room temperature of 70 degrees and put it right up under the nozzle of a steamer without gradually, like keeping it 18 inches to 24 inches away and bringing it up. Now, what I mean by bringing it up, I mean bringing it up that fast even gives the quartz enough. Maybe some others you want to go a little bit slower, but basically don't go from cold to super hot in an instant because it will split. Most gemstones, when otherwise they can take the heat. I could tell you a big story. It's a great story about a big tanzanite and liability and a dealer getting in trouble and blah, blah, blah. But I warned him that tanzanite couldn't take immediate heat change, but it could take gradual. Obviously, it is, I'm not going to tell you the temperature, but it is heat treated at a temperature that is way higher than the temperature of steam. So it can take heat, but a fast heat change, no. Okay, so Anthony goes on to say, Sonora Sunset and Elot, choice chrysocolla, gem silica, some of my favorite rocks. Okay, have I? Yeah, I think I came in with an Elot stone that, of course, was Ravens. And today, embarrassing enough, here you go. If you haven't noticed, I think I might ask those of you who just want to be curious to see if you can get it, what this is. So, if I don't remember to ask that, it won't be a trivia question, because I think it'd be a little difficult. But for those of you that might want to take a shot at some extra credit, see if you can tell me what that is. Let's see. So, Anthony, Sonora Sunset, chrysocolla. Did you ever see any, again, of our live shows that Raven and I did? We sold some of the most amazing quality sunset chrysocolla for, I think it was around about $1 a carat. So big 50, 60 carat pieces, gorgeous quality at a really reasonable price. Now, again, good stuff, hard to get. The color, contrast between the green and the red, not nearly as distinct. Very hard to find good Sonora Sunset. You are correct. Never mind parrot wing. I was lucky to get some large chunks a while back. The blue-green botryoidal layer, I wish I could bottle the stuff for the color. Is the botryoidal layer a form of gem? Okay, the definition basically of a gem in general is it able to be fashioned into and worn as a piece of jewelry? a lot of times you can even fashion just a crystal and use it as a piece of jewelry, but is it necessarily a gem? It's really, can you cut it in a cabochon or in a manner that you could put into a piece of jewelry and wear. So you have all these hardness stones of, 2, 3, 4 that are used as pendants. Are they gems? Well, 4, of course, or the crow-sticks and whatnot. Yes, that's on the borderline, but down to 3s and things, definitely difficult to always say it's a gem. Okay, so if you have that betrothal layer, if it was like the betrothal formation of malachite and you polish the top of those betrothal and you get those wonderful eyes that are, in a piece, then yeah, that's kind of like at least a semi-precious form of gem. So, but I don't think the betrothal layer in that material would be thick enough so that you could polish it into a type of cabochon that would be attractive and bring it out. You might ruin a good piece of rock. But you can always try it once, right? Trivia, getting the answers correct. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn, fun show. Loved what you said. She went on to say, hi, Professor, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Fun show. Love what you said about knowing your specimens and how to care for them. Yeah, washing a halide is something you do only once. And if you missed last week's show, 2 weeks ago, I talked about halide, which is a crystal specimen that regrows every year, basically. I had incredible pink halide from the desert out west, and sold them again in the show. And of course, it came with a caveat of do not wash, rinse, or get anywhere near water, because all it is sodium chloride, table salt, which dissolves in water. And how they form every year is the lake filling up, and as the lake dries, the salinity, the salt content stays the same amount, just like it grows sugar crystals. And so it concentrates and it starts to be deposited as crystals along the shoreline, and then so you can actually get layers of them. And those are real neat specimens. And they're pink because, for the same reason that flamingos are pink. The type of bacteria, same thing why shrimp are pink, same reason why salmon flesh is pink, because they eat the shrimps and other animals that eat this pink bacteria. And so that bacteria remains with the salt and in the salt and creates the same color, pink. So those are neat to see. As crystals, halide. Other than that, you've seen the big salt chunks from, that everybody has in the metaphysical world with the lights in them. I even sold some. Remember those neat little globes? I know people that have had those for like 7 and 8 years, and they are still glowing. And I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, let's see where Miss Barbara was. Okay, yeah, washing a halide is something you do only once. Or the wonderful blue boleites or comingites from Baja California. That would be a tragic and expensive mistake. But knowing what fades or changes with light is important too. Not drying out opals. Also, we have a responsibility to respect the needs of our specimens, since we are only the current custodians of treasures that will continue on after us. And that's why it's so important to me to share my wonderful, wonderful and beloved collection. And that's why almost so many of the specimens that I'm offering you actually have my name on them, because I consider them personal specimens I've had many, many years. And so, yes, current custodians. I like that. As to the trivia, crystal malachite, cooperite, azurite quartz, potassium 40, the same isotope which is found in the pocket mud at the Colorado Doris claim and darkens the smoky quartz found with their vibrant amazonite. And K40 is in bananas too. Yes, bananas are, even though, I have that real sensitive and real Geiger counter. And I could not get even a bunch of bananas to go outside of the ambient median range of the surrounding radiation. Of course, at my house, who knows exactly what that means. But no, so there's nothing really worried about. But technically, yeah, the potassium, a certain percentage of it, really, little bit bananas. The other thing is Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are also, quote, have some radioactivity to them. And it's due to the ground. Where they grow in has a higher content of K40. And yeah, so you never know where, but that's natural radiation, and you know, it's been with us for a long time and will continue to be. So here's the good thing that Miss Barbara said about the comment about those dark smokies with the beautiful, beautiful color in the Colorado Amazonites. Beware the dark smokies that aren't associated with that claim. It's very easy to radiate smoky quartz to make it really dark. So when it gets so dark that it's difficult for light to pass through it, most likely it's been treated smoky quartz. Now, the material, of course, from the claim, completely natural, but it's still not really as dark as I've seen. So just keep an eye out if you have a specimen by itself that's really, really dark. And remember, always carry a flashlight when you go to any shows, and always carry a fluorescent light and magnet. Those three things. It's amazing what you can protect yourself from, put it that way. So the chill is knocking on New York's door. Leaves are spectacular, but a nipping in there. Now, if you could just stop raining on our weekends, we'd be able to get out and enjoy it. Watch clips from this past weekend's Munich show on YouTube. Enjoy, Barbara from Brooklyn. It's a drought down here. We haven't seen rain in weeks, and it's really not a good thing. And it's going to be, it's been 80 degrees, going to be, yeah, don't like it, too hot. I already put that away. But in Georgia, that's not unexpected. We were just fooled with an early continuous cool snap for a while, which was different. Let's see. What else did I want to comment on there from Miss Barbara? I think we got it there, except, sunlight and specimens. Absolutely a great thing to make sure you are aware of. Exactly where you place what specimens in your house in relationship to ultraviolet light, which is, you get all kinds of forms from the sun, and it can take some amethysts. That's another one. You think, oh, it'd be fine. No, sunlight, and on many other, of course, kunzites, that, and pink stones and things like that. So be aware of it. If you don't know, look it up and see what information about certain minerals and see if they're all right. Mr. Brad from Pennsylvania, to Shawn, Raven, Asif, Dave, Gem Shopping staff, the Christie Keeper, and the whole Rock family. Yeah, actually, Miss Christie is the keeper to the goods in many ways. Just a quick note to congratulate Shawn. That'd be me, I think, on being 100% correct on his trivia answers. Whoa! What did I say about you fact checkers out there? Really important in all aspects of life to be fact checked. And so to get a pass from Brad, who is another one that's really, really sharp, it is a compliment. So I thank you for that. He is the big winner. And you are also correct. I have forgotten how little I had to spend on such a great collection of specimens. I haven't had time to get clear through the show, but I wanted to give you the big thumbs up. Keep smiling. Our cooler weather should be headed your way. I see that it is, and a little bit of chance of rain as well. Mr. Brad, so yes, thank you, Brad. It's important to me to be accurate as possible, even when I mispronounce things sometimes, but it's important. I put a lot of time into mineral research, by the way. And, here's the other thing. Christy told me, and I didn't know this, let's say when I have a piece of paper like this and it has other, it has the barcode, but it has maybe other information written on it. She cuts off, the unwanted parts, like the barcode, and all the information that I have written, if it's possible, on these little scrap pieces of paper when I'm doing inventory. And now that I know she actually sends those with the mineral specimen, and I wasn't aware she was doing that, but she's super smart about stuff, about all kinds of things. And well, yeah, speaks Russian. Anyway, great. Really wise person. Here, you know what? I mean, I just got to brag about her for a moment, because this is the stuff I get sent in emails and all from different people. So she sent me 3 different pictures, and she said, can you tell me what this mineral is without any other information, just by looking at them? And so it only took me a moment, and I sent her back a link to 2 other ones like it. But I said, yep, top one, rhodochrosite from China. Middle, Sweet Home rhodochrosite from Colorado. Bottom one, the Shuang mine, or however you pronounce that, from South Africa. All 3, she separately, different colors, different crystal formations, each one of them, but they were still in that range of color that she really loved. She independently picked out 3 rhodochrosite specimens with different crystal systems even, well, the different habits, let's put it that way. And I thought that was pretty neat. But the other neat thing, when I showed the top one that was not normally discernible by way of the crystal system to Raven, I said, do you know what that is? She looked at it, she goes, rhodochrosite? I said, are you asking me or are you telling me? And you know how I do, I make sure, you know, when they inflect the word, and she goes, I'm telling you. And I said, you are exactly correct. And it was the hardest one to be able to discern by the habit what it actually was. So you get the South African ones, some of them are like scalena, like, well, dog-tooth calcites they look like. And so anyway, she just happened to love the color, but it was in the same range. I thought that was pretty clever, because it could have gone into the wolfenite range of the colors, or into the cooperite range of the colors from Australia, and the amazing specimen I sold Miss Gabby. Anyway, let me get through this. Miss Petty in Quebec. Hello, Shawn, Raven, amazing GSN crew, and fellow rockhounds. Hope everyone is well. Just a quick note this week. She got all the questions right, and she put potassium, but I know she meant to add the 40 because it's real important. Shawn, thank you for another great show. First and foremost, Dave's mom is very talented. Great job on that pendant. Love that ametrine specimen also. Shawn, please continue to hold on to the clamshell for me as soon as I can, and it's not 2 a.m. I'll send you the remainder of my list. Hope to hear from everyone next week. Have a great week. Penny and Mahali. P.S. The 240Z story reminded me of my brother's used champagne and burgundy colored 280Z that unfortunately he eventually sold. He's a huge car buff. Well, if he's a huge car buff, then he is regretting it big time. And the 240 is even way more collectible than the 280. And it was the best model anyway, and the sportiest looking one. And yeah, don't see anyone on the road. They're too valuable now. Mr. Charles says in Oregon, ciao, fellow rockhounds. I have to brag a little bit. I've been finding lots of agates at work during my breaks. My job takes me on the rural gravel roads. I have learned the local river gravel quarries produce crushed rock with an abundance of agates. In just a few weeks, I have collected enough to fill 3 tumbler barrels. And he sends me a picture. Let me tell you. However, the real work rockhounding score was finding opal last week. Remember, he lives in Oregon. See attached picture. It was on a crushed basalt gravel road where I did not expect to find anything. The opal ranges from translucent to opaque. They're orange, bright yellow, and white varieties. I find it curious because I am not aware of there being opal here in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. I would love to know which quarry that road gravel came from. Awesome show this week. The fluorescent Reynolds County specimen was especially cool. Congratulations, Shawn, on finding the garnet on your property. Happy Halloween, everyone. With love, Mr. Charles. Love you back. Question 1, getting them right. And also adds the black spots are likely some kind of manganese ore like pyrite ore or pyrolusite. Of course, we know that a manganese ore would be, pyrolusite more than pyrite, which is iron sulfide. Question 2, potassium 40. All right, so yes, regarding the opal from, Juniper Ridge is known. And then, so opal from Oregon is well known and well established. You have Opal Butte as well as another location. But you're right, from where you are. Now, here's the thing. I wish you had a Geiger counter. I wonder if any of it might be towards the halide end of the opal spectrum, and especially in that color range, often can have a radioactive signature. And see if they fluoresce, for one thing, if you have a black light, which of course you should get one because they're not expensive to have. And that would be one thing. If they fluoresced any, then most likely they would have a uranium content to them, just like uranium glass kind of thing, which opal, of course, is similar to. So Morrow County, Jefferson County, Lake County, those counties you would think of for opal counties, but again, nothing much found. So it definitely does look like opal from the pictures, and you've scored. You've really scored. I would go out on that gravel road all the time. And it was just like me when I discovered only a stretch, only a little section of a gravel road near one of the homes I had here in the county, where we call it crush and run. And they must have hit a feldspar deposit, and you know, one of the moonstone varieties, and amazing. You know, they were all about the same roughly range of sizes, but it was the way feldspar cleaves. You know, you could see it was quite crystalline, and that reflection, beautiful, beautiful pink moonstones, basically, and in the gravel. So you never know. Keep eyes down. Keep eyes down. And it was only for a little section, so you could tell it was one batch. They hit a deposit. They loaded that particular truck up from that one locality, and we had the quarries are in the county numerous, or relatively numerous. Of course, we have a very geologically active area. So, and we still have a lot of gravel roads. So you can go rock counting without ever leaving your car. You can sometimes actually spot the difference in color in the road. So they hit a certain deposit, one particular truck, you dump it on the gravel road, looks a little bit different than the rest. That's how you found this stuff. So you scored. That's a great score. Keep looking, but I'd look a little bit more into that opal and certainly into that quarry. I always have been wanting to be allowed into the quarries around here, but that's where you need to know somebody, you know, to get in on them. All right, so let's see. I think I covered everything that I wanted to get to. Let's see. Yep. So we have a winner. And the winner this week is, when we have multiple winners, we, of course, have a common lot drawing, a number assigned, and a number picked. And this week it is Charles. So even those of you who have not participated, it pays to come back and give it another shot. You never know when it's your turn to win. And the magic of the show, you know, most likely you'll win exactly the piece that you want, or it's important to you in some way. Let's see if Charles can relate to this item at all. Look at this. I know. This one may cause, again, some, like the chiastolite, some trivia envy, as we call it. This is a piece of rough I had been saving. And so it's neat, especially for someone, again, I was just thinking about that. Charles is a lapidary and tumbles, and so has equipment. So, you know, that's perfect for something like that. Even though if you never want to do anything to it and just leave it as a specimen, but you never know what's on the inside is what I always say. And with rutile needles all around it, potential for some little star formations, you know, like rutile can do. But look at that. Even if you took a slice off of there and polished cabochons from that material, that is going to bring in some beautiful color. Let me just back like this a little bit and see. Oh, look at that. See, that's how you see into it. By the way, if you ever want to see deeper into a stone, just do exactly what I'm doing and what Dave did. And you can see how the darker inclusions telling you that there is something else inside. So I will let you discover the rest there, Mr. Charles, and congratulations to you on that. Let's put that away, and we'll be right back with the start of the show. All right. Something you haven't seen before. Now, you don't get to stand with this. Cheapo Shawn's already going to tell you that straight out of the gate. But it looks great in one. But I would rather you take a cord, something as simple as the leather cords that, you know, I sell occasionally from time to time, and get, because it's drilled, wear it. Drill it, make it into a pendant, and look at this. This is some really nice banded agate. You can see the banding in it from here, polished on all sides, and look at that neat crystal pocket that is in there. And how fun is that? How fun is that? There, it's drilled, so ready to go, especially for you beaters out there, or it's also a nice size to wear for a gent's pendant, and is really, well, for $18, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Now, the next item is 114-2523. 114-2523, and very similar but different. Going to be the same price, just to let you know. Going to be only $18 also. And here, this is your classic, oftentimes considered classic look for Brazilian agate. More of some of this grayish, gray-blue color tones to it.
What was the number on this one again?
Yeah, so there we go. That looks like it, 114-2523. And with the little geode druzy crystals in the middle for you. See that white down underneath there? Let's see if that, no, it's not back there. A lot of times you get calcite with this material. You'll get calcite crystals that grow in it. And so anyway, again, it is drilled at the top, ready to be made into a pendant or displayed. And wow, what a neat piece for only, again, $18. So next, let me show you what I was referencing. I even have a note on here, Nevada, Tonopah. So I made sure that whoever, if anybody got that Veracite from 2 weeks ago, that I knew that it wasn't from New Hampshire, which showed up on the graphic, because I did it that way. It was my fault. So now that I again have reiterated that, so you know it's from Nevada, not New Hampshire. Tonopah Mining District, should have told you that though. All right, so what I have is the other one of the Brazilian hematite in quartz. Now, remember lepidocrocite, all those specimens in quartz that you say lepidocrocite, most likely it's not lepidocrocite, it is hematite. So just keep that in mind. Learn to know what hematite looks like. And as we come in close on this one side, you can see these wonderful little black specks there. The black specks are actually intermingled with red ones. You may not see it right away like that, but I'll show it to you in another way. Also, you can see there is chlorite in here, and that is the white inclusions, not the reflections that can appear white as well. There's some irises in here, as you can see at the end. Look at those. Whoa, look at that. That is beautiful. Yeah, so this is item number 114-2323. Was that what I said? 114-2323, yeah. All right, and so, isn't that neat that reflection isn't actually in the crystal, but it looks like it, doesn't it? Look at that iris right there. Wow. Wow. I did not see that looking at that. That is one of the finest irises in a piece. Look at that. Look at the rarest color, that purple color, and a large area of it. And that one iris extends well down into the tip. Why that matters is the angle. How long can you see the iris when you're looking at the piece? So, you know, I can see it, start to see it right there, and it continues on. It gets better, it extends. into one of the really largest areas by way of percent of the size of the crystal. And then for an area of purple to be that large, and then boom, you get the peacock feathers right there. Look at that. That is a perfectly defined range of colors to the visible eye. All right, so that extends to the purple color all the way to the red color. So that's infrared to ultraviolet is what makes up the visible spectrum. I won't go too deep, even though I can tell you that stuff. I'm sure Oz knows that stuff because it's about lighting as well. He just got some new lights, by the way, we were playing with. He was showing me before the show. Look at that iris again. Going right down there at that angle. This piece, if I keep looking at it, this might be one that I go against my rule of changing the price on. But wow. All right, so all these little specks in here, these are your inclusions. There's also on one of the faces here, let's see which one it is. I remember there being some. There they are. Boom, there you can see red. You can see red right there. And so it's not lepidocrocite. It is hematite. As is most of all the ones, I guess think it sounds fancier to say lepidocrocite than to tell you that it's just old hematite. And but hematite can form incredible inclusions in quartz. Look at easily visible there, right there, and then the chlorite for the white, and on top of that you have that whole row. Oh, there it is, that whole row of hematite platelets in there, and that incredible iris. Oh boy, wow. We'll just kind of rest it right there for a minute as I revisit that price. No, I gotta be fair. I'll still keep it the same that it was, and that is only $44. Only $44 for that beauty. Okay, now, okay, so that brings me, I guess I'm ready to show you something magnificent, but give me one moment and I'll be right back. I'm setting it up for you. Look at this. Talk about going, segueing right into a relative topic, talking about irises. I have one of the largest spheres. Now, it's not that large, it's 2 inches, but in the quartz iris spheres, this was one of the larger ones of some of the highest quality you can imagine. Now, this is not me moving the sphere. This is me moving the light source. So, both things can occur. So think about this sitting on a, which sunlight, of course, won't affect the clear quartz sphere, sitting on your windowsill. And as the sun moves across the sky in your room, you're going to get exactly what you just saw. That's one way to view it. The other way is when you want to enjoy every bit of it is to rotate it in front of light source. Look at that. I see what I mean by spheres. So this is one that we had, and we had tucked it away, I know, for no, look at that butterfly. Look at that. That is one desired formation when you get something so symmetrical like that. And then you can bring the iris up across the wings. It even looks like a swallowtail. Look at that. Almost equally. Boy, I tell you what, I have never seen that in this one before. So these irises, most inclusions in quartz is water. And you can see right there what looks like little ponds of water, and it basically is water, often sandwiched in between. And there's no better light diffractor than water. Think of a rainbow after a rainstorm. So in a quartz sphere, when you have those films, they break up the light, the direction of the light, and it splits it into the visible spectrum. And you can get so many different looks, some far more intense than the finest of opals. And there's 1,000 different ways to view them, and so many different angles. So, and then all of a sudden when you hit on one, like right now, look at that splash. It looks like just someone spilled a bucket of water. And that's why when you see something like that, yeah, you say, oh yeah, that definitely looks like water. Little fingers of light coming across, and then broken up into the amazing iris. All right, so now, as we come away from this, I'll leave it right there. You can see how big it is relative to my hand, and I just have a little cheesy gem tube stand. I'm going to put it on for you, but it works good. I actually like the stair-stepped down in size for that. Shows off more of the quartz and gives a little kind of custom look to it. So, boy, what can I say? Thank you, sir. This I have at a fantastic opportunity. Now, maybe you could find a general sphere of this size a lot cheaper, but has it demonstrated or been demonstrated to you such intense play of color? And this is a absolutely no tint to it at all. There's the sphere. You can see the color of the quartz is colorless. All right, price on this, only $44. Only $44 on that one, and you can be assured that it is one of the finest. Now, you can get iris spheres that have maybe a whole bunch of different jumbled irises, but it totally cuts down on the clarity of the sphere. So to get a sphere that is considered, very clean overall, and to have that much and that many different options for irises in it, that's what makes it unusual. So it doesn't take a large portion for it to have stunning. Look at that again. Reflections. That is the pond that is generating those colors. And so many times, it's right there, that it's not, oh, there it is. Oh, look how thin it actually is. Wow. Wow. Amazing. So many times at angle, you don't even see it at all. You don't even see that area that creates that until you tilt it at a particular angle. But you can see in general kind of the butterfly look to it. That's kind of neat. Anyway, I could spin that around like playing in a kaleidoscope all day long. All right, next, wait till you see this piece. This is 114-2023, and let's have a made in America item. Boy, now, I have told the story, if you've been around, you might have heard it before, how I worked at the Harris Rock Shop. It's still there. Son runs it in Sarasota, Florida. But I worked there for the original owner, Bill Harris, and his wife, Jean. And they had a huge rock shop. And I used to ride my bike there on down Tuttle Road every Saturday and got paid $1.75. I worked there in 1974 to 1975 and 76, in that range. And I was working off my first grinding machine that my parents had bought for me, and I had to pay them back. So it was great learning experience on levels I never thought I'd get at that young. And by the time I was 13, that's that picture those of you have seen that says Shawn leads a rocky life that had led to my first kiss, because I was famous. I was on a big picture. I'll bring it in and show you, or put it on the phone and show you again sometime for those of you who haven't seen it. But it was in 1974 in Sarasota, Florida, and being there, he was one of the last people to get a big batch of Tampa Bay Ballast Point agatized coral. If you look up that location now, it's just a part of a park. You would never know. Mines often leave scars on the land in one form or another, even when they're been restored to, and reclaimed, you can still tell for many, many years afterwards. But in this particular place, you could never tell any coral was mine because the water must have just filled back in or whatnot. It is totally extinct, never able to be mined again. So we're talking about the mid-70s. I can recognize Ballast Point, Tampa Bay coral like nobody's business, because a lot of people could say, oh, maybe with the coochie or whatever, they would get it wrong. This, by the shape, form, and everything, Ballast Point, Tampa Bay, you can still get with Lacucci coral. It can still be found, but not Tampa Bay Ballast Point material. It is extinct, never be found again. So this piece, again, is why it's special. The fact that it has not been sawn in two is what makes this different. Like I said, okay, you might find a piece even sawn in two, even polished. Maybe it's even going to be less expensive. But that doesn't make it special. What makes it special is the fact that this has not been sawed down the middle. But I tell you what, you can get a glimpse at the inside. Check this out. Oh yeah, I wouldn't leave you wondering. Look at that. Right down through it. Past the banding at the, oh, there we go. Dave took us right down in there. Look at that. And then as we come out to the edge, perfect. Look at that. Look at the banding. Okay, so look at by layer how this replaced the coral, and probably it looks like it grew from and added the layers to the inside as it went, which is really neat. So that sitting on the beach, on the shore, wherever, you would walk right over. You wouldn't think twice about not picking it up. That could be actually an old clam borer hole, making it even more desirable. And never think that this was anything of value. Oh, look at that. So this is one that you could light from behind. Look at that. That's neat. With all the neat LED lights they have now, you can do so many cool things with specimens. So anyway, that's a neat piece. It's rare because it's not been tampered with mechanically in any way. In other words, the bottom part of here hasn't been sawn flat. I mean, anyone could saw that in two if they wanted to. But I think it makes a wonderful specimen in a display on a shelf next to other coral that has been sawn in two. And you get a kind of a before and after. And one of those things I always love to say, would you pick this up on a beach if you saw it? Is this, something you would recognize? Now, being rockhounds, maybe you would. But more likely than not, even being a rockhound, if you're not familiar with the material, you would just walk right past it. And yet, look at what you'd be walking past. $38. Only $38 on that guy. And so I don't have, the ones that I had from Ballast Point, the other specimens, were few and far between that were not sawed open. This was the largest one of them. And to have it from a place that is extinct for being able to be mined or got any more gotten of. So what is out there? That's it. That's it. So the price I really just offered it is a fraction of what it should be and what it will be. Now, I want to make sure I have time to get to some jaw-dropping opportunities here, but I also want to get in a quick, because I mentioned this last week, a quick little lesson here for everybody. All right, because we talked about, let me show you. All right, so this is just a lesson opportunity real quick, and it's interesting for everybody. I think I ought to hold even 5-minute-a-week lessons for some people here at Gem Shopping to really let them see firsthand some of the material you have to watch for in the market. All right, look at this. This is a natural almandine garnet. It's actually quite a nice garnet, natural garnets all the way around. When you look in this piece and look at the stamping, you can go in here and it is has the complete legal stamps of where and what. So right there you can see 925 for sterling silver. And you have so you see that 925, yep, I can even see it. And here you have a hallmark, and here you have country of origin. Can we catch that, Dave? You'll appreciate this. And if you can't, let me see that? I just want to show you, because it's not where, it's just the fact that this is something that you have to watch for. So let me see if the field of view is such. Let's see, is it on that side? Or what I'm looking for is all on the one side. So there's the 925. Yep, there's the easy to see 925. There's the hallmarks, and if I'll tell you if you can't see that, there it is. Well, put it this way: it begins with a CH, ends in an A, and has an IN in the middle. Completely legal to all the things required. Sterling silver is a non-magnetic metal. The almandine garnet, being known as the iron garnet, is magnetic. So if we put a magnet here to the front of this, boom, what does it do? It draws it to it. And so when I was testing the garnet and it snapped to it really fast, and I was able to pick up a heavy silver ring from the garnet, I don't care how much iron is in that garnet, it wouldn't be enough to support the weight of the entire ring. So then I tilted it a little. I thought, oh, well, that's not really being attracted to the garnet at all. It's being attracted to the little thin edge that it is clinging to, the heavy weight of this piece. So I went to the back to make sure, and what do I find? Boom. There's no garnets there at all. I tilted on the angle, only that edge, the heavy weight of this ring. And you know why it's heavy? Well, it's magnetic. What's magnetic? Ferrous iron. This ring is iron. Stamped sterling silver. And would, even if you alloyed it, let's say precious metals, cobalt is a little bit magnetic. You have some other metals that we already know Mn+2 is a magnetic metal. It doesn't matter what it would be alloyed with. If it was still 0.925 silver, there's no way it would ever be magnetic enough to even probably be drawn to the magnet in a visible way unless it was on water. And would certainly not be picked up, and I have to fight it off of there if it was, no matter what other combination. There's only one answer. That ring is made to deceive and made to take your money. It was in an estate of fine jewelry. And I don't know where it came from, but this particular person, her items were $10,000 items, $5,000 items. So maybe it was a fun ring to her, but there's no way with it being stamped that she was offered that ring without thinking she was buying it as a sterling silver piece. She was big into gemstones. she would know that the garnet does look like a natural garnet, and it is. The rest is made to rip you off. All right, so just a little lesson that I wanted to get in. In other words, don't even trust in pieces that you have questions about. And this is, what did I tell you about? The 3 things I always carry with me in my pocket, even if I look like a nerd. And that's a fluorescent pen light. In other words, a little ultraviolet black long wave UV light. Well, you know the light I use replicates sunlight in the eastern, southern part of the United States. So this fancy little deal here. And then my portable black light. And the third item is a magnet. The magnet will tell you all. Besides also that fancy, in a way, see how this folds in and out. 30 power there, 60 power there. You have a choice between regular light or black lighting that comes in from underneath there. So those are my portable tools. Easy, all fit in 2 pockets and can prevent lots of losses. All right, so next I have something you've been wanting to see. Maybe we'll get into exactly paramagnetic items and diamagnetic items and what they mean and what not, because it's actually very important and a great tool. All right, let's show you 1140523. Take a look at this. This is another made in America specimen, and I have had the highest end of this, cutting over a 10-carat finished gem of this material. One of the hardest stones to facet, one of the most desired stones to collect now, was originally thrown out on the discard piles of a silver mine. Later, it was mined for this material. Take a look. Sweet home, mine rhodochrosite. And the other week, I said I'd be showing you a piece that was affordable. If this was anything different in translucency or color, the price just goes up. But this color in itself is a very desired color because of the pink and the crystalline forms to it. It's Sweet Home, which, boy, it doesn't get better than that. And it has goodies with it, including chalcopyrite, tetrahedrite, and sphalerite. Tetrahedrite and sphalerite can look close to one another as far as the way they look. Chalcopyrite, you should be able to know by now how to distinguish it from pyrite. The formula is the same, just with copper added to the iron sulfide part. With the copper added, it makes it, allows it to oxidize and hence iridesce. That's one way to spot it. The other is the crystalline form. If your reflective gold-looking like type inclusions are blocky, like as in squares, or have right angles, most likely it's going to be pyrite. If they're more triangular, it's most likely going to be chalcopyrite. Tetrahedrite and sphalerite are a lot harder to distinguish between the two. If there's any kind of translucency, though, most likely it's going to be sphalerite. All right, Dave, let's take us in and give him a closer look. I've abbreviated the tetrahedrite and sphalerite so you could we could fit all the information in on it. It is these darker black inclusions, but right there you can see a chalcopyrite inclusion. And let me get out my little deal, dust it off, and give you a little closer look at some items. You have quartz as the base material, but I also see feldspars associated. But here is what I mean by the quartz, the classic quartz crystals. Look at that right in here. Here is a really nice little area. Here is the classic rhombohedral formation of rhodochrosite, which is a manganese carbonate. Then you have your great quartz crystals. This gives you a little bit of the taste to the extent that the Sweet Home colors go. You have a baby pink to the outside, but getting towards the center, wow, that gets into some of the richer colors that many of the Sweet Homes were known for, and even beyond that color as far as intensity. Let's look down in this little pocket right here, Dave. What's that? Right down in there. I'll look at that. Okay, so it looks like there was another crystal that might have been in there at one time. Then look at this. So even the back has these really neat little pockets. And look at, here's the chalcopyrite. Here's a chalcopyrite right here. Let me move this over a little bit. And, okay, there we go. There we go. There, look at that. There, boy, I tell you what, it looks like gold. Okay, if it's gold, I want the specimen back. But you'll see little chalcopyrites. There's another one there scattered throughout. The darker ones, look at it closely. You'll see the crystal formations and find the two to be the different ones. Now let's look up here at the quartz. Look at those. Oh, that's right. I wanted to show you how well defined some of the, there we go. Thanks, Dave. Perfect. Well defined these quartz crystals are. They might have looked small in general, but for how well formed they are, some are just beautiful, intermingled like that with the rhodochrosite crystals. There's some of the sphalerite and tetrahedrite. That looks like tetrahedrite there. And then going down the specimen, this is one of those specimens you can look at. You just look at and spin it and look at and learn. Look at that. There's a pocket of some of the other minerals. Oh, here's the other item. That right there in the center. I'm going to put it right there, basically in the center. Find out what that is. There's some other items in here I totally haven't discovered. Like I said, I don't have the feldspar listed, and I saw some feldspar on it. So this is one of those. Look at that quality. Hold on. Wow, beautiful. Look at the clarity. And there's some little areas in here. Like I said before, some of the pictures that you see in Mindat and even on covers of magazines, they'll look big, they'll look fantastic, but when you find and read about it, the size area that it is encompassing may be no more than, you know, a quarter of an inch kind of thing. I say to myself, I have specimens that have that kind of look when it's magnified that many times, like right there. And in reality, we're looking at a little tiny area. So always look and learn and remember that 25.4 millimeters to an inch, so you can do your conversions. Centimeter, is 10 millimeters, and so you know exactly how big something is, because all the specimens you see on like Mindat are smaller than what you're looking at in this specimen right here. I use inches. So 3 by 2 inches roughly, and gives you a size reference. This piece, it really displays nicely, and I think, let me see, it look at that, on a glass shelf, any hard surface, that displays all on its own and looks fantastic either way. Wow. All right, so, even if you collect Sweet Home or like Sweet Home, anything really high-end is going to be really expensive. But it's not always about having the best of. It's having a nice representation of what you would want in a nice specimen, just lacking the high-end price and, the quality. So this has the tetrahedrite, the sphalerite, it has the chalcopyrite, the quartz crystals, and the various ranges of rhodochrosite. I mean, what more can you ask for? This that it's all closed. They did open maybe another portal. Haven't heard a lot about it, but who knows what is going to be available. I can tell you this, it'll never be back at the prices it was unless you get this specimen from me right now, here and now, for only $138. $138. And that does a lot of speaking for only $138 as far as a representation goes for what you would want in a specimen to represent a sweet home piece. So that's really the nice thing about it, is it covers the bases without easily breaking the piggy bank, which it doesn't take much to do in that material. Okay, next I have item number 1142223. Again, here is another specimen, and it is from an extinct mine. It is from the USA, not far from here. It is known as the Zircon Belt in North Carolina. This is from that Jones mine location again, that I was so fortunate. I traded off, it was a big deal. I traded off some fastening equipment. This is many years ago, and I was able to get a flat, an entire flat of these microcline and feldspar and zircon specimens from a mine, the Jones mine, which has been closed since the 60s in the area of the Zircon Belt. So this is a wonderful and very rare collectible. If you collect locality minerals, and I couldn't believe it. I know no local dealer would have sold it or traded it off, as they would know. All right, so all these, what they have, all these brownish tannish crystals you see are the zircons, and every one of them, look at this, let's go in, wow, look at this. Okay, let's go in and look at this one. Here we go. So this is, you never know how far down the other side goes. Of course, you know, the crystal formation of zircons, they're square, kind of like a pyramid at each end, and so you can see that formation right there, and that's a big crystal. That could easily be popped out if you wanted to have a representation loose, and then you'd get to see where the indentation of the crystal was, where it was left. You can remove one of these others if you just want one. Look at all these. So all these, you just need to afford them, you know, and that's how they prepare specimens, and is done all the time. Look at this. So you could you would take one out and cut one if you wanted to. Here's the thing about when I offer a specimen like this. You're buying what's visible, but it's what's not visible. By the concentration of these that I can see, tells me that there's material in here that I can't see. There is definitely crystals in here. So when they were mining this and kind of cleaning the specimen and up, you know, they would have been taking a little crack hammer and kind of busting in pieces to try to get a viewable piece. But you can only go so far before you have pebbles and nothing really attractive. So getting it to a point where you have a nice attractive show specimen and then all these other extras, and still have a nice, what they would call a small cabinet specimen left that displays nicely from a location of an extinct mine and known exactly where it came from, and can be even referenced on Mindat. That is what is really special. And I am making this at price, kind of a sale price, making it affordable. If you've missed out on one of these. You know, I have the Pakistani 4. This isn't from Pakistan, but if there was to be a fifth one to kind of add, you know, from a flat that I had gotten, it would be one of these. You need to make sure you add to the collection. And then the other one would be the other specimens I offered as a flat that I know Penny and Anthony got the 2 flats I wish I had back for what I let them go for now, but of epidotes, of incredible epidotes with some hidden other mineral specimens in them, I believe, if you're lucky to have it in them. Once you spot them, you'll be able to find them. So keep looking on those epidotes if you haven't found them. So I would say get one of those too, as I offer some along the way. So anyway, for the price of only, wow, okay. So I made this a really good value and a sale price value of only $48. $48. So yeah, you couldn't, at a mineral show, you could ask around. I would be quite surprised if you even found one. Okay, I am going to set up to show you a true trophy specimen. So that'll take just a moment. I'll be right back. Museum quality of the finest order. First, let me give you a size reference. Here we go. Here's my hands, all right? This is cabinet quality and beyond. It is by far the nicest of any I have seen, and it wasn't anything even close to it that I could find on the internet, maybe at higher end individual mineral dealers, and you're welcome to go price them. Okay, this is going to take a few moments to show you because it has so many pluses. For one, it is sitting without any stand, naturally, in this particular angle. There's other very showy angles as well. I don't know where to start. Okay, so we have basalt. This is from the extremely desirable Malad quarry from the Mumbai business, what they call the Mumbai Business District quarries. Malad, especially, they are closed. The local encroachment of homes towards a quarry forced basically and caused the closure of the quarries because the land for homes in one of the crowded places in the world, it was more important obviously than the zeolite specimens that had been mined. This is at least 10 years old. We have enjoyed this in our entrance foyer. It is a very personal specimen to us, and it is one of the most, I guess, one of the most museum cover specimens that we'd have. So as Dave takes us in, we're going to kind of start over here and work our way over. Let's just go in close so you know what is what. That's great. So let me get a little pointer here, and we are going to start showing you what makes this the amazing specimen that it is. Of course, the first thing you start with is the size. The weight, it is, the grams of weight, that works out to what, around 11, 12 pounds or something like that. So it has the size, it has a weight. Now, Dave just took us up to the corner. What you see, two different colors of these spherical objects. You're looking at in the lighter color, see these striations? It's a perfect shot right there of a classic prehnite spherical crystalline form. These cream color, kind of similar, but cream color crystals are the gyrolites. It is on a base of quartz crystals. The edge is most likely another zeolite, garnardite, or in the kind of the naturalite family. And as we just look at the edge, you can see how it alternates prehnite, gyrolite. Look at the little quartz, how well defined the quartz crystals actually are when you look in close to them. Now, as Dave comes out a little bit and shows us the pocket, it is breathtaking. Look at the clarity to the prehnites. The beautiful, look at right here, that quartz crystal, for example. Look how that just stands out. This is, you know, prehnite is always kind of that little like a rose quartz haziness color to it. Same thing with prehnite. So you can see it's actually facet grade quality prehnites. And beautiful quartz. Now, as we continue along this upper line, oh wow, right down along here, you get to see, look at the size from the tip of my tweezers, you get a relative size. All right, and we'll just come right down here, okay, and just show you this corner. Now, don't look anymore there. There's a hidden bear in there. Let's come back to the left. I'm not going to show you that yet. To the left, Dave's misbehaving. He wants to see the bear in there. As we come back over here, look into this pocket. Look at that. See, you didn't even see that. You thought it ended there. Oh, no. Oh, no at all. Look at that. Look at those prehnites in there like little bats up on the roof. And then look at further into the bug. Look how it keeps going. Look at the quartz crystals. You have only seen specimens like this in a museum or high-end dealers. This is the good stuff. Look at when the gyrolites are tucked in between the prehnites. Okay, so let me figure out where, okay, now I'm coming along here. I'm kind of rotating this back. As we come, tilt it back to make sure we see everything. Now, let me see from, okay, as we keep going here, look at that. Look at that pocket. So, we had that. See that opening right there down into the, wow, it's kind of a maze. Then, you know, and it's in the back of these pockets where you can find other type minerals. And there's something square back there. Not sure what that square is. I'll leave it to you, but that could very well be something of interest. Okay, and as we come back along here, you can see again, look how large these gyrolites are. Then here is, the upper deck up here was where we were, right? So now we're in the middle deck. Look at back in there. Look at, and oh, look at that. Look at that growth coming off of the prehnite. Quite unusual. And the nice thing about these vesicles or openings is it protects all the crystals. So these crystals can be handled, the piece can be picked up, it can be, you know, even in digging it out in Mother Nature without being destroyed. Now let's go up here and look back into that room, which we didn't look up on the ceiling. Look at the, this is what makes this so very special. There is beautiful crystalline growth and different types. Like, see, those little off-color other formations dangling right there, they need to be looked at. Because you can have secondary growth over the top of the crystals. Okay, so as we come back along to this middle area, right here where we were, we kind of looked down here. So now we're working our way right along here as we zoom in here. Dave's wanting to get over there to that, over here. Now, does anyone see anything different? Well, for one thing, I see where it looks like there's going to be another growth over the top of that gyrolite, whether it's prehnite or quartz, needs to be looked at. What's this right here? This certainly looks different. And if you rotate the light across the surface, you can see it is definitely different. And as we rotate it this way, this becomes important in a moment. There's a brown center, and there is something to be learned from that. Look at all these other little prehnite and quartz crystals of the finest of order. All right. I saw this, and I kept looking. Those are real neat, interesting secondary growths over the prehnite. And then I looked down at this end, and my jaw dropped. Let's go in right here. Look at the baby bear has a mother. It is stunning. And then now that I see this angle with the iris on it, is even more stunning. It is perfectly, perfect condition, a hidden crystal of calcite. And that other was a smaller crystal of calcite. And one of the things that is so definitive is the calcites from the Malad quarry. One of the distinguishing characteristics for a locality is the calcites have brown centers in them. Brown or tan center formations. Look at this. Dave's wanting to go to another pocket. Back down to the calcite here, Dave. Look at this. And then look at the unusual habit, the unusual crystal form of it. Very similar to the other one. Those irises in it are magnificent. Then look at the quartz crystals surrounding it. Look at how well defined and in excellent condition. Look at on the roof above it, prehnites. This is tucked away perfectly protected. Look at that. Look at the bears further down. Look at the big prehnite in the back of that. Wow. Now, let me move that in a moment. Okay, so stunning, huge pockets. This is going along the upper line, just showing you the other direction of viewing here that you would have missed looking at it from the other angle. Look at this row of quartz crystals. See how it's like a ridge line of quartz hanging down with hiding some prehnites behind it, and bigger, look at that bigger quartz crystal coming down from it. And then look at that multi-cluster area, and then way back in the back there. And then look at that perfect form for a prehnite. This is remarkable by every standard. Is museum grade. But that's just this one portion of it. Wow. And I don't, oh, here, okay, these were on the ceiling before from the other angle. Now we're looking at them from, if we look at these, it's a really nice cluster of prehnites and the gyrolites. And then look at the little pockets back there. So when you have this, what happens, these vesicles form, and amygdals, they call them, when the material is, the basalt is cooling quickly and you have escaping gases in the material, and the escaping gases leave the openings and the pockets, kind of like just classic lava rock. So you have all these openings. Later, the different minerals, think about all the different elements that had to be present to form everything from the quartz to the prehnite to the gyrolite to the calcites, and at different times, different temperatures, different geologic situations, it laid down the layer of, at the edge, potentially gonardite, then quartz on top of it, prehnites, gyrolites, secondary growths on top of the prehnites, on top of the gyrolites. So there was multiple situations geologically. But look, let me show you. Wow, look at that pocket way back in there. Goodness, look at on the outside. Look at on the outside. You even have a gyrolite here nestled on the outside. I cannot believe it has not come off yet, but that gives you an idea how hardy this actually is. Now, as I pick it up, let me show you the backside over here. Any green that you might see is going to be selenite. And the, oh, like here, see these little pockets as we go in close on this one? You can see that any of these little pockets, there's going to be a chance for crystal growth. You're going to have it. Look at that. Look at that, just lined. How neat is that? Now here's another one. It looks like maybe quartz on Gannardite. Ah, there's one mystery item here I wanted to show you. It just reminded me. And let me see if I can locate it, because you might find it and wonder yourself. There is an area of white formations of a botryoidal look. So let me just see if I can find something similar. Can you go right here, Mr. Dave, and look to see? No, not right there. But I was going to leave it up to whoever was lucky enough to get this piece to figure out what they are. They're actually, I thought near the one of the front face of it, near an edge, and there's just a little bit of white botryoidal formation. And so what I wanted to tell you was most likely it is Gannardite, which is common zeolite that can form that type of formation. So just spinning this around so you can see really just how exciting this piece is. Oh, look at that. We looked at that. Was that? No, we have not seen that. Look at that. In that one pocket, we have it all. We have the Gannardite, we have the quartz, we have a prehnite, we have a gyrolite. Let me see something. Does light come back through there in any of these other pockets? Boom. There we do. There we have it. We have an opening. We see light at the end of the tunnel. We can get out of the cave that we were stupid enough to get in. Look at that. Look at that. How neat is that? So what you can do is, let me just do this, Dave, thanks for being patient, is put the light on there. If you want to light this, look at that. You could secretly light it through openings like that. Wow, look how that's kind of cool. Look at the prehnites I can see back in there. How neat is that? Oh, that's where the big bear's hiding. All right, so that's an opening into, let's call it the calcite room. You can have so much literal fun with thank you, sir, with something like this. It's a tough one to give up. It's one of our really showy specimens that is still a reasonable, very reasonable price compared to what it would cost really in any other situation. The more I keep looking at this, the more I keep finding openings. I don't even think we look down into that one. Look at that back in there. That's what I mean. This is just a barrel full of fun to people like all of you and me. And I made it just as reasonable as I possibly could for something like this, because I want to know where this piece goes. I mean, you don't have to tell me if you get it, but I just would like to know at least it goes to one of the members in our little community. This is world class. You can see I'm even rocking it hard. It stays right in place there. That's a beautiful display angle. You can even see the top of the little gyrolite up there, so it's not even on that. This is, and you can see the bear tucked away with the brown center. I mean, definitive, really, for the Malad quarry. When you do your research about it, which I hope you do, there's not another one even anything like this. I don't even think I have anything like this, even if it was 2 inches across, nothing. So here's a one-time deal. It's going to be a one-time deal. It is never, going to be discounted from this price. You will never see it less than this price, because anything less, it would certainly worth it for me just to hang on to it. The Malad quarry is closed. There is nothing else coming from it. And these specimens between the Pune district and the Malad quarry, Pune has some somewhat similar, but they're completely distinct between the two. So you know exactly where the Pune is still open, Malad is closed. That's it. Extinct. Price on this guy, you know, is regretful. $1,488. $1,488. And I would imagine, I mean, at 2, 3, 4 times that, you could easily see this specimen for. It is in pristine condition, is the way, you know, how, one of the most important things, believe it or not, and mineral and crystal collectors get so picky about this. Even the slightest nick, chip, ding on a crystal cluster specimen, even, a lot of them will reject it altogether. Others, they'll want big discounts and whatnot, and usually the price, it's like the difference between a flawless diamond and a diamond that might have an inclusion in it visible with a 10 power loop. It's still a great stone, but the difference between that and a flawless diamond is huge. So just as in a specimen that is in pristine condition, and that is what and how you would describe that. That's one of the other things I have never been able to use on one of these high-end specimens, is that it is in pristine condition. I mean, even the prenites at the edge, I didn't see anywhere any kind of nick or bump. They're all protected any further back, so you wouldn't expect that, but it can happen in handling of the piece. But even these ones, let me turn this, that are, see this extended out to the edge where they could have damage? Don't. You would have seen it. And, you know, look at that. Here's another angle it sits at, is right there, and locks in place right there. You can see the big bear easier. So, you know, I can't say enough what a fantastic value. Do your homework, your research on it, others, and see what else you can find. You know, the key to it is the number of different minerals, and the calcite representation for a calcite isn't just one little small crystal. It's a major, perfect condition crystal. Huge, actually, in when you, and the fact that it's alone like that, it raises the value of the specimen. Sometimes calcites can distract a price point or an amount of value, or its aesthetic viewing. Calcites can, because they grow so easily, so low temperature, so readily, and so easily from such few elements, they can end up growing over, pseudomorphing, or be pseudomorphed. So many other things can happen where it's not something you want. In this case, the calcite is extremely desirable, and as I said, is a location determinator, because the Malad quarry, unusually enough, is known to produce calcites with brown or tan centers. Even that small one had it. I wonder what's up with that. Maybe Miss Barbara can look into that. All right, I have to put that away. It'll take me just a second, so let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have it. Turquoise. And not turquoise from somewhere else you wouldn't want it to be from. This is turquoise where you want it to be from, Arizona. It is actually from Bisbee, Cochise County. Big copper mining center, turquoise center. Turquoise comes from the word turques, for Turkish, as it passed through Turkey from one of its first discoveries in the world, in what is now Iran, known then and oftentimes as Persia. So that's its name, and how things get confused because it passes through a country. Origin to this day gets confused along the way, and also because of the fact that many miners hide exactly where something is to keep from other people. So anyway, here's a fantastic specimen. I got to hustle through it to get some things shown. It's all natural color. This is completely the real deal, and you can see it is drilled both ends. You can make it into a slide or just have it as a display specimen. A really neat piece. Price on that one is wow, an excellent value. Only $38. Only $38. Item number 1142623. What I have, and it's going to be same price, $38. Check this out. Look at this. So I have the tag going through the drilled hole, and what you see is again a flower leaf. A flower leaf design, and wow. And you know what? I didn't look it up, but this green material most likely will be another mineral. There's a lot of other associated minerals that are slightly different colors, including turquoise could be that color, but in the same piece, it's probably another little bit. If you've ever actually know about turquoise, some really smart people did a study of turquoise not too long ago, and they determined that most turquoise offered was actually planarite, which is an aluminum phosphate versus turquoise, which is more of a copper aluminum phosphate. Look very similar, but this material I can tell you is turquoise, but be on the lookout. Planarite is often a much lighter blue and greenish color. So just wanted to keep you informed about that. All right, now I have next for you another really cool piece, opportunity, and one there won't be much more of, and 1112523. You might have seen this a while back, but I want to show it to you again because it has it's from somewhere very relevant now. And I already discounted it. This is all natural patina. Look at this. This is a designer object of art. It is Israeli made. It is pre-1988. It's a estate piece. It has its original patina and stamped and hallmarked. And here's what's interesting. You can tell this sat in one place because the air was able to get just to the edge. And that's how you know it's been in one place a long time. So the air allowing just enough air to oxidize around the edge. Here is its important hallmarks. A true 925. Look at the made in Israel valuable stamps, and then the hallmark there of a Greek key and maybe house design or whatever, but it would easily be able to be looked up, made in Israel, as you can see there. And this has to be a meaningful type. Look at it, the blue patina even. So that is a old, took a long time for that to occur. So anyway, it's 96 grams. My goodness, what is silver worth now? Here we go. I will offer this sale price one more time, and let's just make it crazy, because I really don't know the right, but I know that there's a bunch of silver basically in that. So factor that, I don't know. Let's go ahead and do $118. That is a gigantic discount. $118. That's basically really giving away something that I think is one of those collectible pieces and one of those I'm making a mistake pieces. All right. Yes, sir? Question? Oh, the price on it? Yeah, I got the price. All right. So let me show you item 11400923. You know, when I just talked about lepidocrocite and hematite on that other piece, that was thinking I had shown you this item, but now it looks like I haven't. So, wow, here is an extra bonus. Okay, so lepidocrocite, which is the way this was sold to me. Look at this. Okay, so remember the one earlier? Here is the other one that I thought I had already showed a couple weeks ago, but I didn't, obviously. And you can see that's strong lepidocrocite, right? No, it's actually hematite. Lepidocrocite is a polymorph of goethite, which is a different chemical formula altogether. And so look at this wonderful, the way this formed. And so this is polished on both sides. It is drilled through. What an attractive, oh, can we go in here, Dave? Look at this. So you also have your hematite specks. And you can see right there how the specks look just like the red, and you know that it's hematite because we seen hematite looking like that quite a bit. So hematite is Fe2O3 and belongs to the hematite group. Corundum. Now, think of this. Corundum, if Fe2O3 sounds familiar, it is because corundum, which is ruby and sapphire, the formula is Al2O3. So exactly the same, just changing out the first metallic element from iron, which is hematite, to aluminum, and you have ruby and sapphire. Go from hematite to corundum by changing out one element at the beginning. Iron to aluminum. Corundum belongs to the hematite group. Isn't that crazy? Corundum, ruby and sapphire, belong to the hematite family. That's why it's so important to know it's not lepidocrocite, which is a polymorph, meaning the same chemical formula as goethite. All right, this specimen, a beautiful, beautiful collector piece, actually, especially for that formation. Price is only $58. Only $58 on that, and we only have a moment or two left. And let me see if I have, well, I have a beauty here. This will be, let me see. I am not sure what that is, but you guys will probably want to know next week. All right, let me show you. I have a collector carving. It'll be the last item of the show. You might have to put in the information, 684717. An oldie but goodie, indeed. Indonesian amber. Check this out. Look at Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. And you can tell it is more of a Thai Kuan Yin, kind of in that prostrate position, and the way the head is carved. I don't know, that's just the way, when I was in Thailand, I saw more Kuan Yins carved in that way. 20 million year old amber, and so this is carved, it'll sit just fine on its own. Look at that, and then let me show you, look at that, the real color. Look at that, that is cherry red amber. Wow. Look at that. What a, if you had created a backlit lighting for this, look at how stunning it would look with even lighting all through that. That is spooky. Look at that. Wow. Thank you, sir. That is some beautiful, beautiful amber. And look at the detail in the carving. Now, there might be a little nick here or there. I don't really see any. This is all natural. When you see that, you see the light reflecting on it. That's all natural. Nothing, it's just in the material. It's organic material. It's look at that amber. This is one of the biggest carvings and biggest pieces I have had. I've had that material for some time. This was one of our favorite personal specimens of it. I am going to offer that at a huge sale price opportunity, and huge, because the price I had offered this originally, and this was 6 years ago. I have enjoyed it ever since. It was $289. How about right now? A super duper sale price, Goddess of Mercy, one of a kind carving, and I'm going to make that only, my goodness, what can I, let's make it less than half of that. Let's do this. Let's make it $124. $124. Stunning, detailed carving, beautiful. And if you're a lapidary, you can, I was just looking. No, a lot of these are just natural little places in the amber the carver had to work with. If you don't like any of them, all you have to do is take your nail file, a simple nail file. It's amber. The hardness, 1.5 to really soft, and just about anything will carve it. And you can make your own changes to it. You can learn on it, and have fun messing around. That's how you find out that you have the ability to carve within yourself. That's how I found out many years ago when I had to carve a wax when my wax carver was out of town, and it was a 4-carat diamond sale. I was only in my early mid-20s, but by then I was a master goldsmith and had no idea I could carve in wax until I was forced to do it. And then I realized I could carve 3-dimensionally. Didn't know that talent was within. Discover your talent. All right. That'll be the end. We'll be back with the trivia. All right, so end of the show. Always a bummer when I get to the end, because I always look to see what I didn't and haven't done. And one of the things I haven't done, and Latif was supposed to remind me. Couldn't be my fault, right? He's laughing back there. The garnet. The garnet I haven't showed you yet that I found in the backyard. And, but out of time. I have to do that next week. And I wanted to make sure, because 2 weeks ago, long time ago from my memory, that if I didn't do the magnet and ring, not experiment, but demonstration, I wanted to make sure I covered it, and it was certainly worth doing again. That is something that can easily take money out of your pocket. You're at a show. You look at a tray of rings, you see that the garnets are real, and, you'd be right about that part. But how else? You can't take an acid test. You can't ask them, especially if it's vermeil, quote, vermeil, gold plated over silver, to be able to rub it on a rock or do any other silver type of on-site test. Leading me to trivia question number 1. What 4 essential, inexpensive tools, in quotes, do I use to make it harder to buy something that is misrepresented? So, I'll repeat that. What 4 essential, inexpensive, and I'll even add portable tools do I use to make it harder to get ripped off? How's that? To make it harder to buy something that is misrepresented. 4. Okay? Question number 1. Question number 2. And remember, you can watch the show as many times as you want up to the point of the trivia question. So that's why you can always stop the show at that point and answer the trivia, and then, in other words, we don't watching the show to get the answers again. That's the whole idea, is to watch the show from a point of wanting to remember. And boy, if I have someone like Brad saying that I have gotten all my trivia answers correct, thanks. You know, I'm glad the the teacher got an A. Memory fails me some, but that, I think, happens with all of us, right? So that's why you have to kind of practice in listening and not knowing what those trivia questions are going to be. So you listen to the show for a sense of memory, from a standpoint of remembering. And when you do something like that, remember in phonics in school, which I don't even think they teach phonics anymore. It was to, you know, on a new word, we were to say it, spell it, use it in a sentence, diagram it, all that stuff. And the idea being, by the time you did it, you remembered it. And I remember having spelling contests. This is parochial school. And the nuns, and so they'd give you a word, and you were in a race to spell it against someone else. And it was kind of like a spelling bee. You know, you went until you got knocked out and got to a winner. I was always the winner. And so maybe that kind of learning does help. And so maybe some of my educational experiences from learning, I'm trying to put in place here, just to let you learn a few other things. And all it takes when you're working with a mineral dealer sometimes that thinks that you're just another tourist that came to a show because you like metaphysical stuff or something like that, and is to drop a few very smart mineral information or answers, or in conversation, things that would make them respect you more. You're going to get better prices, you're going to have a better rapport with the mineral dealer, and you're going to get more honesty from them if they realize that you're a true rock hound and know more than the majority of most. So because I have been on both sides of the aisle, the table, so to speak, and know how when a very knowledgeable client would come up, it would make me be more respectful, I guess, in a way. You know, not in the way I would speak to them or anything, but just in what I might show them. I might be willing to show them something much more expensive and let them have a closer view if I know that they have a better understanding of what they're looking at. So, like if I said, question number 2, if I said, what is the polymorph of lepidocrocite? You would know the answer. And that is question number 2 of trivia. What lepidocrocite is a polymorph of what other mineral? I'll tell you what, all you got to do is drop a couple of tidbits of information like that, with language like that. It's a whole nother ball game as far as how you would be viewed by other rockhounds. And that is an inside tip from the gem collector, from me to you. And I want to say, before I close out, I don't know if it's Happy Veterans Day. I don't think so. My father, who is no longer with me, would have certainly qualified. He was in the Korean War. My son is currently a major in the Army, and gives him a longer weekend. But I do want to thank all the veterans and active service and inactive, for all of your sacrifices and everything you and your family have done for this country. Because of that, I was able to fall in between conflicts, and I didn't have that calling. And with our volunteer army, I'm glad that we do have those that all are called to service. As my son, who wanted to go join since she could talk. It was that early. Just like when I discovered rocks and minerals, I never left that train of thought, going down a rabbit hole of knowledge and an incredible world of earth sciences leading to prospecting and stone cutting and silversmithing, and here at Gem Shopping Network, being so appreciative of all of you being such an important part of this show. So I thank you, I thank our veterans, and I thank all the powers that are above my pay grade, and everyone else's in the universe, for all that has been bestowed upon me. With Thanksgiving coming up, it's a good time to think about it. So, from me to you, God bless all of you, and you never know what I'm going to come up with. I hope someone really does take advantage, and even if you have to bust the piggy bank, get that specimen. It is one of a kind, and no one, even at a show I have seen, could top it in that variety from the Malad Quarry. All right, I can't wait to see you next Monday. And with all the best of everything lined up and working correctly, it will be Monday. Cheers. See you then.